Tubes of you. Hopefully you can hear me over my air because it's pretty hot out here today. I just stepped outside. My kids are doing quiet time and I needed a minute. I'm actually gonna put my seat back a little bit because my clip is making my head go forward. But I wanted to share with you about why I haven't been on YouTube as much lately, because I know I was being very consistent for a while doing this every single day and kind of slacked off the last couple of weeks. The reason why is because my kid is out of school now and it's just been crazy busy, and I've been trying to get him out of the house and make sure that I do stuff with him so he's not going back on his speech, because that is a very important thing to me. And we obviously, you know, we've been out of town, we're back home now, but I want to make sure that I am being responsible and always putting my children first, prioritizing being a mom instead of making YouTube videos. This is a secondary thing. I love to do this, but I don't want it to become something that I have to do and just not really have anything to say. But speaking of being a mom, today I decided that I am going to put my family, except for my husband, if he wants to go on one, he can, but my family on a detox, a screen detox, including myself, because I've noticed that ever since I went to South Carolina, it was just so much easier to be on my phone because I was around family, and my sinuses have not been killing me all day, but now all of a sudden that I'm making this video, I'm just so stuffy, and just the enemy has been fighting me in so many ways on making this video today, so it must be for somebody. And I didn't really see it as that significant, but maybe it is for somebody who maybe you're wanting to do a screen detox and you just don't know how. So this isn't my first rodeo. I have actually done a screen detox before in my house, and I really seen the benefits of it because I was the one who I would put my kid in front of Miss Rachel and be like, well, it's educational, so my kid can watch it. It's not a big deal. And I really ended up seeing things that were bad about it and how it was actually holding my kid back. And the way that I got him to talk more was not put him in front of more educational videos. It was actually getting him out in public. But I just want to share with you, if you're a mom, especially during the summer, because I know a lot of you, maybe you're thinking about it and you just don't know where to start because you're like, my kids are so used to screens, I don't really know what to do. I want to tell you, if you can afford it, get a season pass to something, because you're going to spend a lot less money overall and you can take your kids to something, especially if it's close by your house. I got a season pass to a park. It was a water park, and it was only $35 for the season, so it really wasn't bad, and you best believe I'm going to be taking my kids there every single day. The biggest thing though you can do is get out of the house, because the more you're sitting in the house, the more you're going to have a desire to be on your phone. So I would suggest getting your kids out, and if you can't afford it, you don't need a bunch of money to be able to go places and do stuff. If you have a blanket, you can literally go out in the yard and sit there, or it doesn't even have to be your yard. If you don't have a yard, just go find some grass that you can sit in with your kids and let them play. Or if you have a free park, go to a free park. Just get your kids out of the house. We really need to get them away from the screens. I don't believe that is God's design for us. Have you ever wondered why it's called a cell phone? It's a cell. I think they should call it a prison phone, because it honestly, it's like it keeps your mind in a prison, and the more you're on the phone, the more addicted you become to it, the more you think you need it, and you really don't. And I've done this before with myself, and it actually made me feel a lot happier. I was able to get a lot more accomplished. There was things that I kept saying I don't have time for, that were starting to get done because I wasn't scrolling on my phone. And you will be amazed by how much time you have when you actually prioritize other things besides just scrolling on your phone. I mean, it really does take up so much of your time, And your kids, today, I'm not gonna lie, after we got back from the park, I thought my son would nap in the car, and he didn't. And they drove me crazy for a minute, I'm not gonna lie, and he kept asking for TV. But I know that I've done this before, and I see the benefits of it, and your kids actually become happier, and they realize that they don't need to be constantly entertained, and they will find ways to entertain themselves. I've said before, it's okay to let your children be bored. It's not a bad thing. And maybe you have family members who are constantly putting them in front of screens. It's okay to tell them, hey, we're limiting screens. And that doesn't mean you have to completely cut it out and never watch TV again, or never let your kids play on a tablet again. I have before, and I mean, we'll still, we'll do family movie nights and things like that. But I just don't want it to get to a point where my kids think that that's all they can do in life and they have to be entertained. We don't need to be entertained all the time. And I feel like that is such a lie from the enemy, that we need to be just constantly entertained, and that it's not okay to be bored. It's not okay to sit there and just think. If the enemy can keep your mind trapped on a phone, he can keep you from getting so many things accomplished. If I were watching somebody else's videos right now, I wouldn't be making my own. And I think it is God's design for us to be out in nature. If you notice, some of the most depressed populations are in places that are so concrete. There is not grass around. There's not a whole lot of things going on outside. It's people are in cubicles, and that's not the way that God intended it. Could you imagine if everybody got outside and started doing things face to face instead of constantly trying to video chat people? And I mean, I have family that live far away, so I do understand wanting to video chat your family. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying if we actually met up in person instead of just constantly texting back and forth, if we stopped watching so many videos and started creating our own, or if we started doing things outside. I've started planting a garden because I really want to teach my kids that there are other things besides technology. You don't have to have technology in your face all the time to be happy. And I say this, what did our grandparents do before cell phones existed? They did a lot of things with their lives. If you ask your grandparents, I'm sure they have a very interesting life, and it's because they actually got out and did stuff. And I'm a millennial, but Gen Z, they are saying that they are the least, they go out less, and in a vacuum that looks great because they're not drinking, they're not doing bad things with their lives, but they're more depressed, more sad than ever. Why? It's because nobody gets out of the house anymore. We're glued to screens, we're glued to games. And I want to teach my kids how to be different from society, because I think that society is making our kids sicker than ever, because we're teaching them that they should sit on a couch and stay in front of a screen all day. Luckily, I have a neighborhood that a lot of these kids get out and they do stuff. I actually have a kid riding behind me right now, and my kids are doing quiet time right now, so we would be outside if they weren't. Yes, maybe some of you work all day and you think it is very hard to go do things with your kids after work, but it doesn't have to be that hard. You could literally go out in your backyard and just let them play. But I just want to encourage some of you to be more in tune with nature, more in tune with giving yourself some quiet time. Give yourself some quiet time so God can actually speak to you and pour into you. How is he supposed to do that if you're constantly filling your mind with what other people are saying? And this is convicting for me, because even though I watch a lot of Christian videos, I haven't really given time to the Lord lately to just pour into me what he wants to say. I've been so focused on what other people want to say about my life, and it's highly convicting. And that's the reason why I want to go on a screen detox, is because I want to allow the Lord to just pour into me, and I want to be able to get outside and just be overall happier. And people will say, well, don't you want to know what the news says? Don't you want to know what's going on. Well, guess what? The Bible tells us tomorrow's news today. So if you want to know what's going on in the world, go read your Bible. You don't need all this news that's going on. Think of how much better the world would be if we started creating, if we started doing things for our neighbors, if we actually had communication with our neighbors and got outside more and let our kids play in the dirt. What a better world this would be. We would have so many entrepreneurs in this world. We wouldn't have people who are just designed to be there and serve somebody else, because I don't believe that's what God intended for this world to be. That wasn't the natural order. We weren't meant to have all these fast fashion brands, and I know people like fast fashion, and I get it. It's cheap, it's easy, but imagine if we started making our own clothes, or, you know, maybe that's not your thing. Maybe you don't feel like making clothes, but maybe there's something else that the Lord has put on your heart to do. Whatever that thing is, maybe the Lord is waiting for you. I've said in another video, the Lord is waiting on you to create something, because it's a butterfly effect for other people. And if you're constantly scrolling on your phone, you're not giving yourself enough time to do that. My life, the last time I went through a screen detox, my life got significantly better. I'll tell you exactly what happened. It was really hard at first, because I would sit there on the couch and I would be like, I really want to be on my phone. But instead of getting on my phone, I would just get up and go do something else. My house got cleaner. My kids got happier. I started doing things that I never had time for. My phone was a lie. My phone overheated, so I had to stop in the middle of recording, but I'm gonna get this video out, because like I said, if the enemy's fighting it this hard, it means somebody must need it. This is about like my 5th or 6th time trying to get this video out. But as I was saying, I started being able to do more things, and I actually started growing a closer relationship with God, because I was more sensitive to his voice. And people, if you think that God can't speak, just give yourself some time for him to speak to you, because if you're constantly going and doing and never just being okay with just being in the peace and quiet, maybe some of you, like, you always have background noise around you. And there's a girl that I've seen on TikTok, and she talks about the frequencies of certain music and how it can really affect your spirit. And maybe some of you have stuff going on in the background and you don't even know that it's affecting you like that. This is your encouragement to find that peace and quiet, and just give yourself some outside time. Give yourself some time to listen to some godly music, or just give yourself some silence. It's okay to be silent sometimes and not have to be so fast-paced, because we live in a fast-paced world, and this world always tries to tell us that we have to be a boss babe, right? We have to do all these things. We have to hit all these checklists instead of just being still. And I think that's what the Lord wants us to do, is just be still and know that he is God. That's what he tells us to do. And that's such a hard thing. A lot of people have really a hard time in this life being still, because the world, they tell us to do anything but be still. And if you're being still, then you're just being lazy, right? You're not doing enough. You gotta know the latest and greatest news, and if you don't, then hey, you're behind, and you're living under a rock, right? Maybe God wants us to live under a rock, so to speak. We were not designed to know everything that's going on in the world all at once. Our mind can't even comprehend it. A lot of things that you scroll on, you don't remember anyways, because you're just scrolling for that dopamine rush and that dopamine hit, and eventually it's like a drug. It becomes an addiction, and you just need that dopamine hit. So I want to encourage some of you. I'm trying to talk a little bit faster because I don't want my phone overheating again, because it is very hot outside. But I just want to encourage you to be still and maybe get your kids away from the screen, get yourself away from the screen. It's okay to let your kids do quiet time. They don't have to have the TV on. Get on a routine. That is the best thing I can tell you if you're a mom and you want to keep your sanity during this time, is keep a routine and just get your kids outside in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't have to be an expensive thing. The more you can get them outside, the easier this is going to be. And honestly, the happier you're going to be, because sunlight is the best disinfectant, right? That's what we've been told. And I think that it disinfects all the junk that you have been filling into your mind, because we're sitting inside and we're looking at screens nonstop, and we're not allowing ourselves to be at peace. We're constantly having anxious thoughts, and we're depressed more than ever. And I think that's because we need to get back to our roots and start doing things the way people did for centuries, because cell phones are a fairly new thing. People didn't have these forever. And you know, if we look at the world as sicker than ever, I think there's a reason that it's sicker than ever. I think it's because of the device that I'm holding in my hand right now, because we're not using it for what it's intended for. We're consuming, and if you click off of this video fast, then I did my job, because I hope this is one of the last videos you watch today. Because I hope you get outside, I hope you get in nature, and I hope you start creating things. But anyways, I pray you guys have a blessed day, and if nothing else, just give time for God to speak.